Hi, and welcome back to Bounce Around Charleston. Standing here with me, Minister Carl Bright. Welcome to Bounce Around Charleston again.
Thank you, my pleasure.
We're happy to have you here today. Now, you want to talk about a musical dealing with Denmark Vesey.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Well, about 30 years ago, my wife and I were in the off-Broadway production of Denmark Vesey. 30 years later, the producer calls me from the Philippines, said he'd like to put it on down here.
30 years later.
30 years later.
Okay.
We hadn't talked in 30 years. And he found me through Sounds of Charleston, and through that, he contacted me, and we put it together to do down here.
And what is the title of the musical?
It's called the Denmark Vesey Opera.
The Denmark Vesey Opera.
Yes.
And Denmark Vesey has great ties here in Charleston.
Yes, and that's so ironic that we would be in a play, had never heard of Charleston, knew Charleston was, didn't know we would ever live in the place we did the play in.
Right.
And so I actually played at Emmanuel, which he's a part of, helped start several years ago.
You were the music director there, yes.
Yeah, musician there. And so it was just phenomenal to be a part of that whole church there, and to know that I had been in the play 30 years earlier.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit what the play is about?
Well, it's the history of the revolt that he led during that time in the 1800s to go against the slave owners, and to get rid of them, and then get on a boat and go to Hades.
Okay.
Okay. So he went around to churches, recruited people, recruited others to help make this happen.
Okay.
And so it's written in a musical by Walter Robinson. Whoa. And Walter was one of the professors at DuBose College at Harvard.
Okay.
And so he wrote this musical, this opera, and it depicts a lot of it. A lot of it's true, a lot of it's fictional, and he's fused it all together.
And I'm quite sure the music is wonderful because your wife has a phenomenal voice.
I got to agree with you there.
Yeah.
She has a phenomenal voice. The music is good. He wrote all the music. What they called me in for 30 years ago was to be vocal director. They had a music director, but he brought me in because he liked the way I would orchestrate voices. And so this is what has happened again. He lets me pretty much direct the vocals the way they would inflect the right sound for the message.
Okay, and this musical will happen where?
At Circular Church, 150 Meeting Street on Saturday at 7 p.m., which is the 21st, and Sunday, the 22nd at 7 p.m., Circular Church, 150 Meeting Street. Okay,
and then you've asked me to be a part of this by doing some narration.
Yes, sir. On the 22nd, you'll be doing part of the narration.
Okay, well, we look forward to doing that. And the play's entitled again?
A Denmark Vesey Opera.
Denmark Vesey Opera. Wonderful music, wonderful play. A great story about the history of Denmark Vesey and his life here in the Low Country.
Exactly.
Well, we look forward to that. And believe it or not, he wants all of you to come out and be a part of that presentation on Saturday and Sunday at the Circular Congregation Church. We'll be right back after this break.